Welcome to Wrestling Jeopardy, the only interactive pro wrestling trivia challenge on YouTube where you're the contestant. I'm your host, Kevin J. Callis.
Yeah.
And I hope you're ready to swing for the fences, test your knowledge, and walk off with the overall top score. Now, if you're a seasoned vet of Wrestling Jeopardy, well, you know the drill. However, if you're a rookie, take a sec to read our not so extreme rules so you can learn all about how to play the game.
Time to play the game!
And with that, let's go to the board now and check out the categories you'll be quizzed on, starting with Play Ball, followed by the Global Wrestling Federation, Iconic Mustaches, Saturday night's main event, and last but certainly not least, the return of an audio category, theme song opening sound effects. So let's begin the game with the 200-point round, the easiest round in Wrestling Jeopardy. You should go 5 for 5 and wind up with a 1,000 batting average. Let's kick things off with Play Ball. Before he ever snapped into a Slim Jim, this wrestling legend played 4 seasons of minor league baseball, batting .254 with 16 home runs and 66 RBIs. Drafted straight out of high school by the St. Louis Cardinals, we're talking about the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Yeah.
And we're on to the Global Wrestling Federation for 200. In 1991, an upstart wrestling organization called the Global Wrestling Federation made its debut on ESPN by holding a tournament, which was won by this masked wrestler. And the correct answer, who is the Patriot? That brings us to Iconic Mustaches for 200. This bleach blonde mustache belongs in the Mustache Hall of Fame, brother. And of course, that is the unmistakable stash of one Hulk Hogan.
Brother, dudes.
Moving on to Saturday night's main event for 200. Premiering in 1985, Saturday night's main event originally aired on NBC in the United States in place of this late night comedy show for weeks when that show didn't have any new episodes. And the answer, what is Saturday Night Live?
Let me tell you something about this guy. He has herpes.
No! And let's finish up the 200-point round by naming the wrestler or wrestlers associated with this opening theme song sound effect. What did the band Devo always say? Whip it? Whip it good! The correct answer here, who is Bianca Belair? And we're on to the 400-point round with Play Ball. Following a stint in WCW as the Kiss Demon, this wrestler would join his father Jeff as a baseball coach for the Montreal Expos. And before he became the Kiss Demon, he was known as the MVP, the most violent player, who is Dale Torborg. We're on to the GWF for 4. Using the nickname of the Expert, this current WWE executive worked for the Global Wrestling Federation as a color commentator, manager, and ringside interviewer. And the answer here, who is Bruce Pritchard?
I know him.
We're on to Iconic Mustaches for 400. This wrestler got his name due to his resemblance to actor Tom Selleck. You know, I think I got kind of a Magnum PI vibe going right now with the tropical Hawaiian shirt. However, the correct answer here, who is Magnum TA? Which brings us to Saturday night's main event for 400. In its 20-plus year history, a WWE Singles Championship only changed hands once, on Saturday night's main event when Shawn Michaels defeated this wrestler for the Intercontinental title. And it happened in November of 1992 when HBK defeated the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. And let's finish up the 400-point round by naming the wrestler or wrestlers associated with this opening theme song sound effect. Screeching wheels could have gone either way. You could have said it was the bad guy, Razor Ramon.
You know what they say, man.
But that wreck in there is an obvious dead giveaway. The correct answer, who, is Mick Foley. All right, 10 questions down, 15 to go, plus the daily doubles floating around somewhere out there. If you're enjoying yourself, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also the ringy-dingy notification icon bell so you get notified whenever we come out with a brand new episode of Wrestling Jeopardy. And this one happens to be our 20th episode, so thank you.
Thank you!
And so let's kick off the 600-point round with Play Ball. The Major League Baseball shutdown of 1994 led to the debut of a wrestler named Abe Knuckleball Schwartz, who painted his face like a baseball and wore a jersey sporting this number. And the correct answer, what is 00?
You know something?
Brings us to the Global Wrestling Federation for 6. The GWF ran weekly shows out of the Global Dome, which in its heyday was better known as this. Now, the GWF was a Dallas, Texas-based promotion, so they ran their shows out of the world-famous Sportatorium. We're on to iconic mustaches for 600, fitting for his cowboy character. This wrestler's thick handlebar was straight out of a classic Western. And the correct answer, who is Blackjack Mulligan? Moving on to Saturday night's main event for 600. In 2007, this former boxing world champion appeared on Saturday night's main event to face Matt Hardy in a boxing match. And that would be none other than the real deal, who is Evander Holyfield. And let's finish up the 600-point round by naming the wrestler or wrestlers associated with this opening theme song sound effect. I feel bad for these guys. They've probably had about 85 theme songs since they started with the E. But the correct answer is, who are the Viking Raiders? And let's kick off the 800-point round with Play Ball. After the Chicago White Sox won the World Series in 2005, their catcher, A.J. Pierzynski, took part in this TNA pay-per-view, managing the team of Dale Torborg, Sanjay Dutt, and Chris Sabin versus the Diamonds in the Rough. And the correct answer here, what is Turning Point? And that brings us to the Global Wrestling Federation for 800. Oh, this is going to be a toughie here for you guys who aren't familiar with the GWF.
Stand by for the baddest, meanest, toughest wrestling you'll ever see.
If you have any knowledge in your brain about the Global Wrestling Federation, place your wager now. All right, time is up. Here is the Daily Double clue from the Global Wrestling Federation. Taking orders from the mysterious boss and consisting of members Cactus Jack, Muckin Singh, Rip Rogers, and Scotty Anthony, this was the name of the first heel stable to ever exist in the GWF. I always thought this was a cool name for a faction. The correct answer, who were the Cartel? And we're moving on to Mustaches for 8. This wrestler looked like he stepped out of a time machine from the early 1900s. Managed by Harvey Whippleman with his signature derby hat. The correct answer, who was Big Bully Busick? Which brings us to Saturday night's main event. On the 30th edition of Saturday night's main event, Hulk Hogan and Sid Justice teamed up in a match against these two wrestlers, during which Sid would turn his back and walk out on the Hulkster. The correct answer, who were the Nature Boy Ric Flair and The Undertaker. And let's finish up the 800-point round by naming the wrestler or wrestlers associated with this opening theme song sound effect. Another tricky one that could have gone either way. You could have said it was Taz, but you would have been incorrect because the correct answer, no one will survive. Who is Ciampa? And we've made it to the most difficult round in Wrestling Jeopardy. The steel cage begins to lower. The ominous music begins to play. 5 questions left. Get your thinking caps on. Let's head on over to Play Ball for 1,000. Before famously coming to Raw in 2022, Veer Mahan won an Indian reality show competition that scored him a Major League Baseball contract with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and his story became the inspiration for this Disney movie. Released in 2014 and starring the dynamic duo of John Hamm and Bill Paxton, the correct answer is Million Dollar Arm. Which brings us to the final clue from the Global Wrestling Federation. Long before Elimination Chambers and TLC matches were the norm, the bookers of the GWF tried this daring new concept for a match. The first and hopefully last bungee cord match featured Chaz Taylor versus Stephen Dane hanging 175 feet in the air, and the loser was the first person thrown out of the cage.
I fell, but I won!
Let's close out iconic mustaches for 1,000. This wrestler created a terrifying appearance with his devilish eyebrows and menacing mustache. Adding to his fearsome demeanor was that massive mustache, just as thick and powerful as one of the most feared heels of all time. Who is Ox Baker? And we're on to Saturday night's main event for 1,000. Jesse Ventura made fun of this couple on their wedding day, going so far as to say that their kiss looked like 2 carp going after the same piece of corn. Now the body should have chosen his words more carefully because he wound up with a face full of cake at the wedding reception of Uncle Elmer and his blushing bride, Joyce. And let's finish up the regular round of Jeopardy by naming the wrestler associated with this opening theme song sound effect. The name of this theme song is called Superhuman, which used to be the NXT theme of Baron Corbin. And now we're on to Final Jeopardy. Let's check out this episode's clue, which is Major League Ballparks. With their atypical dimensions, Major League ballparks may not seem like ideal venues for pro wrestling, but the sport is no stranger to the baseball diamond, having fielded multiple WrestleManias and countless other stadium events. Alright, so think about how much you know about Major League ballparks and place your wager now. All right, time is up. Here is the final clue. This New York City ballpark provided the backdrop to many milestone moments, including the first ever meeting between Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. Good luck. This New York City ballpark provided the backdrop to many milestone moments, including the first ever meeting between Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. Though it ceased to be in 2009, this former home of the New York Mets' storied past as a hallowed venue for pro wrestling remains intact through 3 landmark showdowns, which took place every 4 years from 1972 to 1980. The correct answer, what was Shea Stadium?